Hello, everybody. This is the BadAss Conversations podcast with your host, John Chaney. That's me. And today we will be talking to Kristian Madsen. He is the host of the Random Madsen Show, lives in Kansas City, and he's from Saratoga, California. Kristian, how are you, buddy?
Hey, how you doing?
There
it is right
Check
there.
That out. I don't have anything that fancy yet.
Yeah. Well, that was a lot of crayon work.
Well, you stay inside the lines, Will.
And I wouldn't say that, but it looks good. Looks like snot and somebody wrote over it. So it's all good. It's professional.
I was listening to your show the other day, and y'all had a big discussion about the logo and everything. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. I've got all kinds of stuff to talk to you about the shows.
Oh, great. Here we go. Well, I'm ready. I'm ready for you. Thank you very much for having me on, sir.
I am excited to have you on today. I tell you, I've been looking forward to it. And I love your show, and I'm not just saying that because you're on the show today. But
and I did give you $5, so
that's not bad for a day's work. It's more than what I get paid.
Hey, in today's inflation, it's about a dime, so you're good.
Yeah. So I was listening to the show the other day, and I like, especially your guests are awesome, but the bantering that goes on beforehand. I have learned a lot of things just about you in general. Yeah, I have. I've learned that you're a 2-ply toilet paper man.
Oh, yes. Yeah. No, good Lord, that was a mess. Literally, in very many different ways, and time-consuming as well, because taking one sheet of one ply constantly over and over and over and over and over, you get the process, and you know what it was for. So we're gonna leave that one right where it's at this
forever
point.
If you haven't listened to it, and of course I'm sitting over there. I'm an idiot anyway. I enjoy poop humor, and I'm crying and carrying on. And then I think of my dad that used to tell me, well, you only need one little rectangle. You just put your finger through it and wipe, and see.
Right, there you go. The old army.
Well, we have John Wayne toilet paper here at the school.
Rationing.
So, rough and tough, and takes no crap off anybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Okay, I got to remember that for my my sidekicks there that were getting it.
Excuse me. Also learned that hippos are people. I've learned that this week.
Yes, Pablo Escobar's cocaine out.
That's got to be a good time hanging out with those hippos.
Dude, that would be a party. I mean, first off, with a hippo, you're going to have a lot of coke going around. So if you're into that, you've got a party for a while, unless the hippos go a little nutsy. But you're figuring they're going to pretty much tweak out after a while and go running off, chasing after somebody. So you're left with a big pile. You're Tony Montana and Scarface all over again.
Oh, man.
So you want to talk to me, huh?
How long? Oh, man. See, what else did I learn? I listened to a great big discussion today, and somehow raccoons with antlers came up. That was interesting.
Well, and that was a downfall of them not getting my pre-show notes. And so they weren't getting the humor. I was relating more to the fact of the mask.
Oh, yeah. And I could see it in your face, too. There was a couple times, like, you gave them a look. I was like, dude, it's a raccoon.
Yeah, it's a raccoon with a fake horn trying to get into
the elks wouldn't let it. No, man.
Now, sometimes my humor's lost.
I got it, man. I got it.
It's fine. You got it. You got it. That's what's important. That's as long as the rest of the world gets it. Who cares?
That's
about
right.
them knuckleheads?
And then,
no, those guys are great.
Oh, yeah. And, I love the energy between all of you, too. It's kind of like me and my sidekick here. Oh, I don't have one because nobody likes to talk to me. I have to do this show just to get people. Oh, I'm just kidding.
You're too much of a badass.
You know,
that's why
it happens.
You're like Chuck Norris, dude. You're the only one that needs to be doing the podcast. That's how I started out.
So let's talk about that. How did you start out doing podcasting?
I used to be in radio back in the day. I was in radio for almost 11 years. I started out very small, jumped up very quickly, and then ended up joining a partner, and we had a nighttime show, number one nighttime show out on the Central Coast in California. Then we ended up having to disperse the show. The radio station dispersed the show. Needless to say, when you're doing a classic rock station and you have a very big show and you're doing commercial parodies, don't make fun of your major sponsor. Not a good idea.
They frown on that for some reason.
Yeah, they, especially, when you make incestuous implications about the commercial that was going on at the time. And long story short, yeah, pretty much that was our final nail in the coffin, where they just said, here's your checks. It's been fun working with you. Hope you have luck somewhere else. Which I proceeded to the bar and ended up spending most of that check at the bar. Because when you're in radio, you don't get paid much. Unless you do fantastic voiceover work for commercials and whatnot.
Well, maybe you should have been a teacher, because, I go home rolling it at night.
Yeah,
Rain, baby.
Hey, my sister's a teacher, and I.
I'm surprised I didn't see you at that bar.
Right. But you did see me at Wendy's making fries.
You did a great job.
I did. After I sneezed on a few of them. I mean, made sure they were seasoned well. So yeah, I fast forward, moved a few different places, moved to Colorado, moved to Arizona, moved to Kansas City, and yada, yada, yada. I am single father at that point, recently divorced, and I'm kind of toying around with things in my head and whatnot. And in fact, my old radio partner actually became very big in doing podcasts when they first started a long time ago, and encouraged me to join his show and spend the money to do it. Dude, I can't do that. Right. It's just too much money for me. Well, now you really don't need a whole lot. Anyway, long story short, I started getting back into voiceover stuff, built myself a little studio to do it in. And then, somebody was talking about, they were all talking about their podcast that they were listening to at the job I was at. And I'm like, yeah, and they were like, you used to be on radio, right? I said, yeah, I did radio and I did stand up and all that. And like, dude, you would have a great show. And I'm like, well, but if there's a lot of money. And this one guy goes, my buddy does his podcast off his phone. And I'm like, what? And so I did some research and I'm like, oh, well, this really doesn't take all that much equipment anymore. So, and I pretty much had most of it, like, well, you can't really see it, but, I've got my soundboard, my professional microphone, which,
nice.
There you go there. And I have the laptop, obviously, and internet connection. So I was like, yeah, maybe I'll check into it. So I started dabbling around and, started just playing around with it. Did a few just on my own, just kind of ranting, a little quick 20-minute rant here and there, and having some fun and making fun of things and doing what I normally do. And I said, well, I brought a couple people in to have some fun with me with it. And it started really kind of picking up steam. And, that was about a year ago, or at the beginning of this year, let's say. everybody was like, listen, man, you really need to focus on this because we really think you got something. And I was like, I think I might just do that. So I kind of eased up on the voiceover work and started focusing more on the whole podcast thing. And lo and behold, really started picking up steam. And then I found our good friend, Mr. Joyner, who has been incredibly helpful and is quite the genius when it comes to connecting people with all this stuff. And so needless to say, I'm really going full steam at it, and it's a great ride. I just love entertaining people. I love having people have a good time, enjoy themselves. That was one thing I really loved about radio is when, you get that phone call where they're like, hey man, I just want I was having a really crappy day, and you just totally turned it around. You made me laugh, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. And, I mean, it sounds corny and it sounds like it doesn't happen. It happens a lot. And when it does, it doesn't happen a lot, I should say. But when it does happen, it's just, I mean, you just go over the top. And it is probably one of the best feelings it's one of those feelings that, you just, it's like when you're a racer, like a drag racer or something, you're on the line, you're watching the lights, and everything is on edge, and you just boom, and that release, and it's awesome. It's very much like having sex, but without having sex. If that makes any sense at all, probably doesn't.
It does. Yeah. Plus, I can come over here and talk on the podcast anytime I want to. So. Yeah, right.
Right, yeah, and it never says
no. I'm trying to behave.
So.
No, you're good.
Sorry.
You're good.
But yeah, and that was just one of my things. Like I said, I did stand up back in the day. I grew up listening to radio. I listened to the morning AM jock out in San Francisco. His name was Dr. Donald E. Rose. He was just a very fun, entertaining guy. He made me want to get up out of bed. And then I listened to a guy at night that was on a complete different spectrum. It was still very entertaining, but just in a more late night way, if you know what I mean. So it was, I got the best of both worlds. And I really learned to kind of combine all that and just have fun. And it was just, like I said, it was just one of those things, especially since I was a kid. When I learned how to make people laugh or just entertain somebody, it was just one of the greatest rushes in the world. So I went with it, and so it's something I've just always done. And I've served in a lot of those type of industries along the way. I've worked in restaurant where I'm helping people have good food or good service, in radio, I did the same thing. In construction, I went to the painting side because painting is the final touch, and it's what makes everything look good. And I started at the bottom up in all the fields I've worked in. It's like I work in I grew up in transportation, literally grew up in it. My father had his own trucking company and whatnot. And I learned everything from the ground up. I started washing trucks to running my own center and things like that. So, anyway, yeah. So, yeah,
well, that's
awesome.
How
I started. Long and short of it, which was very long.
No, I loved it, man. And, I love that, you're very people-centered and wanting to help others. And even if it's just to take a break for the day and they can listen to your show and feel a little bit better,
Right. And well, my thing was too, and I started doing this right before the pandemic. In fact, it was that year I literally started in January of 2020. And so it was right before the whole pandemic thing blew up. And I just, like I said, I wanted to, just make people happy. But, there was so much tension, especially with the presidential election going on and getting fired up. And, and we're getting screwed. I mean, we're the little guys. We're the ones who are trampled underfoot. We get washed over by corporate America and corporate government. And my thing is to remind people we're all we've got. Okay, you can be if you want to choose A and they choose B, fine, whatever, dude. Okay, in the middle there's C. I don't know how you want to do it, but whatever. Let everybody do their thing, respect it, but listen. Somebody else is playing that game with you. Learn to get along, okay? Have your differences if you want, but get along because somebody else is pushing buttons and pushing you down. And we need to be able to stand strong together and be able to push back and be good to each other and be helpful to each other.
Yeah,
and that's all I really want.
This is funny because I was just having this same conversation the other day with a friend of mine. And, you know, here's the thing.
A badass friend.
Not as badass as this. But, you know.
Right.
Half badass.
He's badass. Not there's no S on the end. It's just badass.
You know, so. I don't know. I was trying to be funny and it all fell apart right there. But I was having this conversation. That happens a lot.
Oh, well, welcome to my world.
Right now, we're so divided, and without me getting into all that, that's kind of what the government wants, is us to be divided. We're all we have. We got to stick together. And absolutely. And we were having that discussion, and I was like, listen, like this person is one that gets all tore up, and I'm into politics because I want to know what's going on. And I have my beliefs, but you have your beliefs, and this person has their beliefs. Right. I remember back as a kid, man, it wasn't like this. You know, one person believed this, one person believed that, and they're like, okay, whatever you do. Now it's getting really rough, and we do, just like you said, we've got to stick together because those people, they don't care about what me and you think about it. They're going to do whatever they want,
and they Yep, and they love splitting us apart. They love driving that wedge in between us and going, no, you're right. He is a dick. So you just you be you over here. Make sure they stay to them over there, you know. And that ain't and it's so easily played. And so many people easily get sucked into it. And it's like if you just stop and listen for a second, you go, oh crap, they are playing us.
Do some thinking.
You know. And hey man, and I've been guilty of it, you know. I've gotten caught up in it because sometimes it gets spun so well. It doesn't matter how smart you are. You'll be like, "Oh, did you?"
Yeah.
Oh crap! I'm doing exactly what I was just saying I wasn't going to do. Son of a.
It's easy.
And so you know, and you know, you go and kick yourself in the head and just all right, okay, I'm back, I'm cool, dude. Be cool, you know. And so, we all got to be like Fonzie.
Coolamendo. Finally, somebody gets my Fonzie references. You know, I'm 50. Well, I'll be 51 next month, and I've been teaching for 26 years, and I work with a whole bunch of teachers that are very young, and I make references to like Fonzie and this and that, and they're like, "What are you talking about? Who?" I'm like,
What's Fonzie? What are you talking about?
I have no clue.
Yeah. Watch the Me Network or what? I don't even know if it's on anymore. What makes me really sad is when you reference Nick at Night. And you're like, what? You're like, oh my God, you don't even know what Nick at Night is. Jeez. Yeah, I'm 56, bro. So trust me.
You don't know Nick at Night. I'm not even getting into must see TV. Okay.
No. That's right. I don't even worry about Fox Network.
So when I watch the videos of your all show, like I said, you know, there's that energy there, and I can see that you're all having fun. There's a chemistry there, which I think is important. But tell me what else. Well, first of all, just kind of tell those people that haven't heard you yet, because I want them to go find your show. Kind of explain what your show's about, what you do, and what's important to you to have in that show.
Well, okay, like I said, my show kind of just started out as me just kind of ranting and having fun and, picking a subject and whatnot. But then I was like, wow, it's too hard to just sit here and pick one subject to go with and whatnot. And so I started inviting some people, different people on, and I started doing like we were doing, inviting podcasters on and things like that, just to kind of help, support each other. And, I spread the news about your show, you spread the news about my show, and I promote our show together, and then you promote, I go on your show, and et cetera and so forth. And I'm sorry, I'm going to look up my my definition of my show, because I always forget it, and I actually invented
what do we do?
The definition. I know it's and I have these epiphanies. I start work at 3 a.m. in the morning, so I have these epiphanies in at the 10 o'clock hour at night, when I'm like almost asleep. And this one came to me. I was like, randomity. And I'm like, that's the description of my show, which is basically, randomity is the bold process of knowing and discussing everything about nothing in particular.
Kind of like a Seinfeld.
Welcome to the show.
Kind of like a Seinfeld episode.
Yes.
I love. I wouldn't really say your show's like a Seinfeld. I'm just saying, about nothing.
Oh, no.
Because I didn't like Seinfeld. I'm one of the few people in the whole country that didn't like Seinfeld, I think. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, Jerry. I'm sure you're a fine guy. Didn't like the show.
Well, hey. Well, now you're just driving a wedge in between us.
Me and Jerry, I thought we were going to be best friends. And, now I've ruined it.
Well, there
I was
goes
hoping
your
to
Christmas
get,
card.
have coffee in this car. So come on.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. And see, actually, the guest I had on the other week, Sam Quasman, was, he was part of the show, Driving with Comedians in Cars. He was the product placement guy. So no, my show is really, I mean, at this point, I kind of just have some fun. I do have sidekicks, I guess, or whatever you want to call them. Andy actually has his own podcast. Okay. That's how we met. We was doing the exact thing I was talking about. I had him on the show, and my show goes out live. It's very much like my old radio show. I do it live. There's just a lot less music. In fact, the only music I really do play anymore is I have a band that wrote the theme song for my show, which was really, really cool. It's actually an old friend of mine, but so the Dead Campers, by the way, if you ever like surf rockabilly
seen some of the videos
sound
on your social media, and I'm sitting there checking it out. Because as I'm going through, and all of a sudden this guy's got a horse head on, and they're all like, okay, what's this? What we got here? I'm in the mask, all right.
Yeah, no, Donnie's, it's a dude, they're such a fun band, and they have a great time, and you see it, and they're really starting to take off. It's called the Dead Campers. They're on Spotify. Anyway, I'll just give a little plug there for them. But and that music's fun, and that's what the show's about. It's just having fun and talking with people. Now again, we do have some heated discussions sometimes, but the great thing about it, and serious, I mean, we've had some very, especially back towards the election and when things started getting heated with COVID and whatnot, we had some pretty intense conversations. But the great thing about it was we ended it. Okay. We gave each other respect. We walked away, and we were still cool with each other at the end of it, But the great thing about me doing this live is I have a live chat as well. So there's a lot of people that will tune in and type in, hey, what about this or whatever. So it's, which has brought us some great friends along the way. And I know it's kind of an awkward time. It's at 4 Central, usually on Tuesdays. This week it's going to be on Wednesday. But I'm like, I can't really pick a good time, between East Coast and West Coast, and I'm not going
Right.
to kill my weekend for it. And I don't like recording. I feel my show, just like in radio, the rawness of it comes through in the realness. And because there's so many people that do podcasting, you hear because they're editing the hell out of somebody, and it's like, what did they say? And I hate that. At least, when I was in radio, we had what was called the dump button, which is a 10-second delay, where if somebody says, the F word or something, you're like, beep, and then all of a sudden it, you get that quiet pause, and then everybody's like, you dropped an F-bomb, and you're like, yeah, okay. The whole idea of that button was so nobody heard that, but okay, thank you. I've got Andy, who's really literally become my sidekick. Matt was an old friend of mine from my radio show out on the Central Coast, and he actually, it's so funny because we've really been trying to revamp the show and tighten things up a little bit, and he goes, listen, I'm really cool with just being in the back, kind of telling you guys what to do. And I was like, what? And he's like, I'll get things coordinated. I'll control it. If you want me to talk a little bit or something, I'm like, no, dude, that's perfect. I would love to have that. So Matt kind of joins us in the beginning now, and then he hangs in the back, and, he sends us little notes through the computer going, okay, you need to move on, or whatever, which Matt is good at because me and Matt used to work together as well. I had a side job in a restaurant, and Matt was actually my boss.
All right.
So, well, he wasn't my boss. He was above me. He was the lead chef, and I was his sous chef. And anyway, so we get along, and I respect his opinion when he's saying something. And he used to listen to my show all the time. And he has some really great ideas. So Maddie is now just more of a director, and then me and Andy kind of play off of each other. As, heard. And they can be quite relentless sometimes, because sometimes I just am not up to speed on certain things because I'm old. And I go flippity-flap. Back in my day, we didn't even have podcasts. All we did was sit and yell at each other from miles away. You couldn't even hear anybody. And you'd be straining your ears. And you'd be like, what was that? I could have sworn I heard something. What are you saying? And we'd scream, and our voices would go raw and bloody. And then we wouldn't be able to talk for this. So, sorry, that was my Danny Carvey impression of Grumpy Old Man.
No, man, that was great.
And that's the way we was, and we liked it. So, yes, and like I said, I do voiceover, so I have a lot of voices in my head.
I do, too. People act like that's a wrong thing or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, mine come out a lot, and they come out. Yeah, sometimes they come out as Homer Simpson, and I don't know why, because this stupid boy drives me nuts. No! Stupid. Don't! So, yeah, I have all that kind of going on, and...
Hold on, man.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Keep on.
I'm behaved.
I'll be good now, okay? And as a cuss, sometimes I want to be like Carmen. Damn it. No. Screw you guys. I'm out of here. Respect my authority.
So.
Sorry for those people listening that I just coughed in your ear, but I've been sick for a couple of days, and then all of a sudden that broke out.
Oh, jeez.
So,
yep.
No, you're good.
I'm sorry.
You know, if I just keel over, just finish up the show if you don't mind. So.
Yeah, no problem. I got it. I'll be like, okay, well, we're going on hour 98, and
how's John doing? Is he up yet?
Wake back up from his coma. Yeah. We called the EMT quite some time ago. See how long it takes for them to respond? It's like a Public Enemy song. Well, I called 911 a long time ago.
See, that goes back to our discussion
right.
earlier. We might be the only ones around here that even got that joke. We're like, who? Flavor what?
Flavor,
yeah, boy!
Yeah, boy.
All right. So, and we're like the two whitest people that shouldn't even be talking like that. So, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and that's the other thing. I am really not politically correct. I'm very polite, but I am not politically correct.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I am as well. So I just kind of speak my mind and, get over it or don't come talk to me.
Right. And that's a great thing about podcasting is I don't have the FCC anymore. And, it's like I used to tell people when they were listening to me on radio, there is a knob where you can change the channel or a button as they matured into buttons now. And now I think you just think about it and your radio changes. But, the fact of the matter again is it's having fun. I'm getting some really great guests to come on. Andy is so great with some of them too, because he catches up where I start kind of fading sometimes. And, Andy's show, which is Rum and Regrets. It's another fun little show. It's just something him and a couple of his friends do every other week or so. And that's all about just movies and TV shows and whatnot. So mostly sci-fi, superhero kind of things and stuff because they're just big nerds. So, but
that's right.
Who isn't?
Oh, I know.
So, anyway.
I feel like I'm talking to a whole plethora of people right now.
Oh, we've just scraped the top.
Oh, goodness. So you talk.
In fact, welcome to my evil lair. Well, Jonathan, you're going to be evil henchman number 1 now. How does that make you feel? Couldn't care. All right, guess what I got over here? A whole bag of Zip It. All right. Okay, I'm good. Back to the show. Right. Okay. Everybody's happy. Okay. Moving on. Daddy no likey the silence. Let's go.
So you've talked about.
All right, I'm back.
Oh, you're killing me, man. I'm trying to breathe over here. People listen to this, they'll be like, if he snorts back that snot one more time in his nose. I can't help it. It's him and Homer and Dr. Evil. So you've talked about, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No.
I said go ahead.
You're opening the door for more voices and we'll
So I'm just, you've talked about different guests and stuff that you've had on, and I'm lucky that I've gotten with Steve, and I'm getting to meet some really cool people. That's what one of my things for starting this show is I just like to get out and talk to people, and meet new people and learn things from them. So with the guests that you've had, tell me about maybe some of your favorite guests that you had. I know that you probably like all of them and this and that, but what are some of the favorites that you've had on the show?
Well, yeah, I mean, again, everybody's got their own nuance, and that's the one thing I like about it. I don't like, I don't have just one, certain style, everybody goes, so what's your niche? Who are you interviewing? And, are they all just, like there's a lot of people who just interview sports people or, certain, and I'm like, no, I hit it all. It doesn't matter. I've had a lady who sells sex toys. I've had a lady, who does just, coaching, she was, she's a Christian lady and she really coaches with
Right.
biblical principles and teaching your life and stuff like that. And which I thought it was great. You know, the way she was doing it, I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, I am a Christian, basically non-denominational Christian, and I really try to, push that. And well, I don't push
Right.
it. I just try to share
Sure.
it. Because I think if you let the Holy Spirit speak through you,
Right.
people are going to see it, and they're going to see,
Most
how
definitely.
good your life is, with being with Christ and God. But there's I have a friend who is a very famous surf photographer and skateboarding photographer. He just released a book, so we had him on. I had a very famous skateboarder on who is now, he's retired. He was one of these, he's an kind of an underground hero in skateboarding, because he's amazing skater. Okay. But he gave up on the competition because he was tired of it going very corporate and whatnot, And so he just started skating for fun. And that's when he would just like all of a sudden show up at a contest. And I can go on because I have so much respect for the dude. And so anyway, long story short, he gave it all up and is now doing what's called free riding, mountain biking. And his name's Mark Partain. I'm sorry, I was getting caught up in his story. But I mean, the guy has the most amazing story, and he's so hard to nail down. I got him on a Sunday, and I like hyped up, the fact that I'm doing the show on a Sunday, and he could only do it in the morning. He's out on the West Coast. I'm out here in the Central Coast. So it was like, what was it? It was 7:00. So it was 9:00 my time in the morning on a Sunday. Nobody's up out here, man. I mean, but dude, it was such an amazing show. And and to hear his story and the life he had been leading, and then all of a sudden his internet signal faded because where he was at in the hills, so we had to cut it short. And I've been trying to nail him down to do a part 2. Still haven't been able to do it, but Mark Partain was probably one of my favorites. And then just last week I had Sam Quasman on, who was the voice of Donald Duck. And Little Quackers. He's been on the Bob Newhart show, which, oh my gosh, it's the Bob Newhart show I grew up on, and he was one of my first comedy albums I ever heard when I was a kid. So that, and Sam was just, he was so quick and so, it's like also you're like, wait, what did he just say? And you're laughing, and then all of a sudden he's dropping another joke, and you're just like, wait, dude. So, so no, he was amazing. It's very hard to say who would be my favorite, because everybody's got their Partain for sure, because just because of knowing and learning his story. I'd only met him a couple times, and both of them were just total coincidental through other friends. And obviously my friend Dave Nelson, the surf photographer, hearing his life, because me and Dave grew up, and we were not in the greatest of crowds. Right, sure. Let's just say that. And, the fact that I'm still alive today is amazing. The fact that he's alive and successful as he is just mind blowing. But it just shows, what you can do when you put your head to something. And that's what I loved about Dave's story, because Dave was just basically a surf rat, just having fun with life, and decided to start doing the photography. And because we had another friend, Tony Michaels, who was very big in the photography business, and got Dave interested in it, and Dave ended up traveling all over the world, and there was Patsy, who has, Patsy does an online blog and a podcast about dating sites. And I know it sounds kind of hokey, but what she does is she basically busts people trying to scam people on online dating. And the stories she had were just hilarious. Oh my gosh, it was just amazing. The stupidity these people, think they're doing, and the way she sets them up. Oh my gosh. She was one of my longest shows. I think we almost went 3 hours with her. And then, that was one of my longest shows. I think it almost went 3.5 hours, which, you think would be boring. No, it's like all of a sudden my wife sent my daughter down. Dad, dinner's getting cold. And I looked at my watch. I was like, oh my gosh, we've been on here for 3.5 hours. So yeah, we had to go. But anyway, and again, didn't edit a drop. And people have listened to it and been like, yeah, you're listening and you don't know where the time goes. Those are just a sample of some of the people I've had on. Nicole Urban was great. The lady with all the sex toys. She was just so funny. And, the way she would talk about some of her utensils was quite entertaining. And she wasn't very, she wasn't lewd or rude or anything. She was just, and she does kind of counseling with couples sometimes to help them along. And, which I thought was very cool. She keeps it discreet. And, but then of course there's the bachelorette parties. They're like, oh my gosh, look at this thing. It's all over the place. It's like 3 feet long. What do you do with this? Well, there's something you do with it. And, well, there's a diagram. Let me show you.
Hey, this one runs off a tractor battery. What the?
There's a pull start on this one. This may take a little more work than we need, honey. I'm just saying, let's go downgrade a little bit. Yeah, the one with the AAA batteries. That's good. That's fine.
Oh man. But yeah, that's kind of how I'm doing this show as well too. Is when I was doing all this research and this and that, you got to pick a niche and you got to do this and that. Man, I just want to talk to people I find interesting. And so, I have podcasters, I have comedians, I have actors, actresses. I'm going to have a guy on soon that hunts Bigfoot. And I have some people, yes.
Oh,
yes,
nice.
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah. See, now that's cool. I've had some people that are, I want to do tarot card readings.
Right.
No, dude, if you want to go scam some people out of some money and invoke demons, then you can do that on your time. I am not going to support any of that. So, and the psychic mediums, we can do readings of people. And no, you can't. No, you don't. And I'm not going to, I've wasted more than enough time saying no to you at this point.
Well, if I help find Bigfoot, I'm riding on his back through there over to your house, dude.
Dude, I want to be on the show.
And here's our guest, Bigfoot.
Yeah, right. Guess who we found at the 7-Eleven? It's Biggie, the Footman. Come on in here, buddy.
He was in the beef jerky aisle.
Yes, I know. Right. And he's got nacho cheese all over him. And you're done with your Slurpee now. You got a large. You got brain freeze, don't you? So, yeah. Sorry, that was probably the worst Bigfoot impression ever.
But do we know? But, I've never talked to him before, so.
I have.
Now, I dated a couple girls that was close back in the days, I'm just saying. They're not going to listen to this anyway.
Boom, John. John just got badass on the X's. Damn, dude.
Don't like it?
Oh, my,
God.
Oh, goodness.
You didn't know all that was going to bust out like that, did you? Yeah. That's right.
No, dude, that was boom. Sup. All right. So now, all right, now
All right, now we're ready to
now
start the show.
All right,
Now,
come on.
Who else am I going to go after?
Let's bring it on, Johnny.
No, I don't want to yet.
Let's do it now.
Okay.
Do it now. Go to the chopper.
Get on now.
I was teaching the other day in the shop, and we got this little building that we've been building. It's a 10 by 10 shed, and I heard some kid on the other side. You never know what they're going to say anyway. And I hear it, and all of a sudden I hear, do it now, get to the chopper. And I was like, what the hell is going on?
Dude, at least they've got that,
I can't do
At least
math
they get
work
the
today,
Arnold.
but daggone it, I know me some Schwarzenegger.
You're like, hey, you got a B plus.
That's right.
Just for saying
Yeah.
that. There you go, buddy. All right.
Especially when half the
baby.
teachers probably.
Come with me if you want to
Well, my
leave.
favorite is Kindergarten Cop. What's a ferret? This is a ferret.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody else found that as funny as me, but I laughed.
It's not a tumor. It's a headache.
I think it's a tumor. It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
All right, man.
Ah, yes. That's good times.
All right, so just kind of wrap it up. I've taken a lot of your time, and I've enjoyed this.
I think I've taken more than enough of your time. But,
I've loved this.
This is a blast.
Here's a question that I put down there, and you may or may not have an answer to this, but I thought, what the hell? This is
I
badass.
guarantee
So
I've
let's
got
do
an
it.
answer.
What's
You may not want to
what's
hear
one
it.
question you wished I had asked you that I didn't?
What?
Yeah, come on now.
I'm not sure if I can say that on the air.
I just like watching the panic in
everybody's
your
like, "Oh my
face.
God, what?" Oh my God, what was he gonna say? Oh my God, I bet it was totally gross.
It couldn't get any worse. We've already talked about
He's
tracker
gonna talk
batteries.
about
So.
poop. Yeah, it's true, and the pull starts on the old vibe. One question that I wished you would have asked. What's my favorite
So,
cheese?
what's your favorite cheese?
I prefer Munster.
See,
Just because of the name Munster. It's very fancy sounding in a German sort of way, but not really. It could be Swedish for all we know. Have you ever noticed how very much Swedish and German are very much alike? That's because they're freaks over in Europe. That's all they are. They all have their little special languages. And, over here in Britain, the United Kingdom, we're not even British. We're the United Kingdom. And no, you're British, you're Scottish. So shut your flipping mouth, you stupid bastard.
oh, you gotta do it. Get in my belly.
Get in me belly.
Smells
Look
like you
at
got
you.
the baby.
You're so wee smart. Sorry.
Man, I'm loving it.
Yeah, dude, you're like really, you're firing everything up on all cylinders. Have you ever seen the Animaniacs?
Yeah, most definitely.
Oh, well, then you know who Wacko is.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorites. That one's been signed by Jess Harnell himself, you know.
Awesome.
He's Fabu. And then of course we also have Stimson J Cat. Oh joy! I have a special friend named Ren. No, you don't, you stupid sick little monkey. I am not your friend. I am just curious about this space madness. All right, now shut up, you Stupid bastards.
Ladies and gentlemen, if that's not badass, I can't bring you any more than that right there, okay? I've tried to bring you badass.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's right. It's like going out and playing 18 holes and getting stoned to be Jesus afterwards. It's crazy. It's a crazy good time. That's all I'm going to say. Me and the Dalai Lama hanging out, Googling. We thought of Google before Google was cool. We called it Oogle. And then somebody went and put a G on it and made it Google. I mean, how crazy
ladies
is
and gentlemen,
that,
this
right?
all come from a question about cheese. Just remember that.
Welcome to the world of randomity. The bold process of speaking about everything and nothing in particular. I'm pretty sure I got that right.
Yeah.
You know, when you make things up, it's the bold process of knowing and discussing everything about nothing in particular. I got it right.
Come on.
That's the first time I've gotten it right. I passed the test. Oh. Hi, righty. Oh boy, we did the thing with the stuff. All right, the medication's working now. I'm fine. Let's continue with the interview, shall we?
I can't breathe.
So, you were saying, John, I'm feeling fine. It's just me and you now.
Scared
buddy.
me a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. Or,
Oh.
I'm not. You're not locked in here with me. I'm locked in here with you. Okay. All right. Everything's, hold on.
Looks good, man.
Yeah. I feel great. Yeah, what's the matter,
Well,
John?
I think I'm having a coronary, but other than that, you know.
Yeah. You act like you've never had a guest on this show before.
I've had two now. BadAss. That's right, see?
Well, actually, you've had about 20,
Yeah.
I think. I don't know.
Oh, man. All right, so just going to wrap this up. Even though I don't want to.
You have no idea where to go at this point. The whole show is lost. We can't even wrangle it
anything
in.
else to do. Keep on going. We'll just.
It's a weird old fact that, sometimes the Mayan culture was the first to do the podcast here. That's a horrible Cliff Clavin. Don't even know that. That's from numbers.
Listen, half the people wouldn't even know who Cliff Clavin was. So.
I know, right?
I don't know what they were laughing about. Cliff somebody.
Is yeah, U.S. Postal Service worker. Hello. All right.
I'm sorry, this is off topic.
I'll
but
be good.
Remember when he went and played Jeopardy? Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah. And then when Alex Trebek showed up at the bar, that's him. That's the guy. That's the guy. And the servicemen go and like tackle him and.
Oh man. All right. Well, I'm gonna wrap this up, even though I don't want to.
A hospital. What is it? It's a big building with sick people in it, but that's not important right now. Okay, more stupid movie quotes. Let's go.
Where can people find your show at? Because they've got to find this. I mean, since we set this up, I've been listening to it all weekend and everything. Couldn't do anything else because I've been sick, but I listened to your show. So where can they find you at?
Well, it is live streamed Tuesdays, usually. Okay. Tuesdays. This week it will be Wednesday. And I usually try to give as much of a heads up on that as I can. But Tuesdays usually at 4 Central. It is live streamed on Facebook Live, YouTube, on I gotta make sure I get them all right. Twitch, Twitter, Daily Motion, and LinkedIn. I do a live stream on all 6 of those channels. And then the next day, I download the audio onto the podcast sites, which is Apple, Google, Anchor, Spotify, Bullhorn, lots of Good Pods, and Podbean. Yeah.
So if they want to find you, they can
there's
find
several
you, is what
more.
I'm hearing, because you are out there.
Oh, yeah. Hey, just you can go to the randomchristianshow.com, and it's
Right.
Christian with a K. So it's the random Christian with a K show.com. And there's links to everything there. There's also a link to a Teespring for shirts or cups if you enjoy the show. Like, follow, and subscribe, just like we do here with the BadAss podcast. Which loving it, absolutely love this show. So make sure you give lots of likes and follows, and subscribe and reviews. I guess I'm just now finding out reviews are a big thing. I'm like, you know what? Well, cool, whatever. But yeah, it's and like I said, we're out there pretty much everywhere. So not too hard to find. Got some great guests coming up. Great guests. Breast or breast?
You have a breast?
Ooh, whoa! Wait a minute. Whoa, we got great breast coming up.
Here's really a bad one.
We got breast. So that's right. That'll be the After Dark Random Christian Show, and but no, I've got oh, good Lord, I'm like booked up for I will, well, this week, actually, we're going to have Stephen Joyner on Wednesday, and Mark Chasman, who is, like, if you're into voiceover and you've listened to lots of cartoons and commercials and things like that, you've heard this guy. I guarantee you've heard his voice in one way or another. If you've ever listened to radio or watched TV, you know who this guy is. You just don't know who he is. And he is absolutely huge. He's amazing, super nice guy. So actually I'm really pushing it on voiceovers, for people to chat in and ask him some questions. That'll be Wednesday at 4:00, Central Time. I've got, I wasn't prepared.
I'm a very bad Boy Scout.
I'm sorry. I've got to go to my my list.
Oh,
here.
you're all right,
apologize. I should be. You can edit this out, right? Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have Ashley Lawson on. She's an actress that we will have on in the following week. I've got Movita Johnson Harrell, who is with she's a politician. First week in December, I've got from Dry Bar Comedy. This guy is huge. He's all over the place. His name's Tommy Drake. Super hilarious comedian. He juggled. Oh my gosh, he's so funny. He's a very visual. When you go to see his show, super great visual show, but otherwise super funny stand up. Yeah, all sorts of. I got Dave Keck coming up. And Kristen Stivall, who's a fantasy author. I got
a few things.
And plenty more on their way. So make sure you tune in. That's right, tonight at 5 for the news somewhere. Usually at your local bar. Just listen to the guy next to you and buy him a drink, and you'll find out all what happened for the entire day.
And stay classy, San Diego.
Yes.
You're welcome.
I think I ate your chocolate squirrel. All right. Nobody will get that reference unless they've seen the movie. So, which is par for my course.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, those people listening, this is Kristian Madsen. Please go check out his show. You won't be disappointed. It's very addictive. I started listening to it, and I keep listening to it. Kids keep asking me questions while I'm teaching. I'm like, shut up, kid. I'm over here watching this. But please go check him out. And Until next time, this has been Badass Conversations, and I'm John, and I'm out.